Good day. Here are the stories for the Manila Times for Saturday, September 4, 2021. The government must ramp up its vaccination efforts starting this month if it is to keep within sight of its target of jabbing 77 million individuals by year's end. National Task Force Against COVID-19 Chief Implementer Carlito Galvez Jr. admitted that the country was still way off its target with 4 months to go. He said the government is working on increasing the inoculations by September and October. The aim is to have 20 million fully vaccinated people by the end of September. The country has 14.1 million fully vaccinated people, which is 18.22% of the population. Galvez, the designated vaccine czar, said the NTF is working to scale up the rollout of second doses to 6 million from the current 5 million. As of September 2, the Philippines has received a total of 52,792,130 doses according to the NTF. Presidential Advisor for Entrepreneurship Jose Maria Joy Concepcion III sees no legal problem with the implementation of his proposed vacuna or vaccine bubble, saying it will be done for the greater good. Concepcion once again defended his proposal from criticisms that the idea of segregating vaccinated from unvaccinated individuals could be questioned in court for discriminatory treatment. Vacuna bubbles are COVID-19 free zones like restaurants, salons, coffee shops, and gyms exclusive for vaccinated people. Unvaccinated persons must present a negative antigen or reverse transcription polymerase chain reaction test result to gain access to a bubble. In a virtual meeting with Cebu City Mayor Michael Rama, Concepcion said restricting a group of people was justified if the aim was to benefit and protect the majority. He said some top government officials and business leaders were supportive of trying out the scheme in the National Capital Region to help step up the pace of economic recovery. 3 members of the Quezon City Council have asked their colleagues, through an ordinance, to grant a productivity incentive equivalent to 1 month's salary to all City Hall employees regardless of their status. Councilor Winston Winnie Castelo said the proposed measure will benefit over 11,000 city personnel who are either holding permanent positions or contractual. The Department of Budget and Management released on Friday an additional 888.11 million pesos to the Department of Health to pay for the special risk allowance of health workers. 369.78 million pesos was released to fund the COVID-19 special risk allowance of public health workers and 518.33 million pesos to cover the SRA of both public and private health personnel. The DBM issued 311 million pesos on August 25, enough to compensate 20,208 health workers. But groups of nurses and other hospital staff took to the streets this week to demand full payment of their SRAs and other benefits. Public and private health workers directly catering to COVID-19 patients are entitled to an SRA of 5,000 pesos per month from December 2020 to June 30, 2021. The SRA will be prorated based on the number of days health employees report for work in a month, the DBM said. The DOH will download the funds to its retainer hospitals, treatment and rehabilitation centers, private hospitals, and other COVID-19 facilities. The funds were drawn from unprogrammed appropriation and the miscellaneous personal benefits pool. President Rodrigo Duterte on Thursday denied allegations that masks, face shields, and personal protective equipment recently bought by the government to combat COVID-19 were overpriced. In his pre-recorded public address, Duterte said the procurement service of the Department of Budget and Management, which is under fire from lawmakers for making the purchases, actually bought the items and PPEs below the prevailing suggested retail price. The masks, according to the president, were procured below the suggested retail price at the time despite the high demand as countries raced to secure supplies. The Philippine National Police formed a task force to step up its campaign against illegal recruiters, PNP Chief General Guillermo Eleazar announced on Friday. The PNP Task Force Against Illegal Recruitment, according to a memorandum circular that was signed on the same day, will analyze and aggressively initiate police officers against the modus operandi of illegal recruiters in coordination with other law enforcement agencies. It is intended to protect Filipinos from modus operandi that victimize them in their bid to work abroad. President Rodrigo Duterte accused Senator Richard Gordon of using the Philippine Red Cross as his milking cow to fund his electoral campaigns, forcing the chief executive to demand the Commission on Audit to conduct an audit of the non-government organization to see if funds are being spent correctly. In his pre-recorded public address on Thursday, Duterte questioned the objective of Gordon's panel to look into the government's COVID-19 pandemic spending. Over to business. The Philippines' economic expansion slowed at the start of the third quarter of this year, according to Oxford Economics, due to declining base effects and the resurgence of COVID-19 cases. The research firm said in a report released on Friday that its growth tracker reveals that the Association of Southeast Asian Nations, or ASEAN 6 economies momentum slowed in July. The group's ASEAN 6 group tracker, which includes Indonesia, Malaysia, the Philippines, Thailand, Singapore, and Vietnam, points to a weaker start to the third quarter. Growth fell to 6.4% year-on-year in July from 8% year-on-year in June, following a steady pickup in the first quarter and a significant rebound in the second quarter due to favorable base effects, it underscored. It should be mentioned that the Philippine economy grew by 11.8% in April to June 2021, rebounding from a contraction of 3.9% in January to March this year. Oxford Economics said the drop in the growth tracker in July is partially explained by a declining base effect, but COVID-19 outbreaks in recent months have also hampered the ASEAN's economic recovery. From June onwards, a spike of COVID-19 cases in the region prompted increasing concern and stronger government restrictions. In sports, the Philippines ended its Tokyo Paralympics campaign with no medals on Friday. Swimmer Gary Behino and wheelchair racer Gerald Mangliwan were the country's last athletes to compete on Friday, but failed to make the podium in their respective events. Behino swam in lane 1 and clocked 1 minute and 28.87 seconds to finish 7th or last place in Heat 2 and 20th overall in the 3-heat 20-swimmer field in the men's 100-meter backstroke S6 at the Tokyo Aquatic Center. Behino also competed in the 200-meter individual medley SM6, 50-meter butterfly S6, and the 400-meter freestyle S6 events, where he also finished in the tail end of the race. Behino, a silver medalist at the 2018 Asian Paragames and the two-time gold medal winner at the ASEAN Paragames, managed to log a personal best of 5 minutes and 52.28 seconds in the 400-meter freestyle event. On the other hand, Mangliwan raced in lane 3 and timed 20.08 seconds to finish last among 8 participants in the men's T52 100-meter race at the Olympic Stadium. Raymond Martin, who is of Filipino descent but is representing the United States in the Paralympics, won the gold medal in the event with a time of 16.99 seconds. The Philippines had a total of 6 athletes bound for the Tokyo Paragames, but only Behino, Mangliwan, and swimmer Ernie Gawilan were able to compete. The other 3, powerlifter Aishel Guion, discus thrower Janet Aceveda, and taekwondo jin Alain Ganapin, had to withdraw from competition after testing positive for COVID-19. The closing ceremony for the Paralympics will take place on Sunday at the Olympic Stadium. Antonio Contreras and Dian Macabenta are today's front page columnists. Contreras talks about politicians being clowns, while Macabenta attempts to take a swipe at climate activists by claiming that the Antarctic sea ice has been growing and not shrinking. Today's editorial believes it is not yet time to hold face-to-face classes. Read a full version on the paper's opinion section or listen to the voice of the Times. For more news and information, get a copy of the Manila Times on print, subscribe to its digital edition, or log on to www.manilatimes.net. Follow us on Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram, and keep up with the Times. On behalf of the Manila Times, this is Arik John Seco reporting. Have a safe weekend ahead.